Manson met Trent. I think he met him even before they had the band, because Manson was writing for a local magazine, and he did an interview with Trent. And they were both, I don't know if they were both from the same town, but they were both from Ohio, so they had that like kind of thing going on. So when Manson made the first demo tape, he gave Trent a copy when Nine Inch Nails played down here, and Trent liked it. Manson and him kept in contact with each other, and then we opened up for Nine Inch Nails. Like, that was my first gig with them. So we just kept sending him demos, and he dug it and would hook us up with different record labels if he could, and this and that. And so, we were doing showcases for pretty much every record label that ever was, but nobody wanted us. They all turned us down. And then finally, I think Trent was on Interscope at that time, so we got the hookup to Interscope through Trent. And they came to see us a few times, put us in the studio to do like more professional demos. And so we got signed to Interscope. And then we got like an advance. They gave us a certain amount of money to do the record. They gave us a certain amount of money for equipment. It was like nothing, man. It was like, it's kind of like embarrassing to tell you how much money we got, but we got like a publishing advance, so we all got like half of the money up front, and we each got like a few $1,000s, and we're like in heaven. It's like, this is great, they're giving us this money. It's nuts. So they put us in the studio. We go to Miami, I guess, to cut down on costs from flying us somewhere and putting us up in hotels and that, and we do the record with Rolly Massaman produced it, who used to be in the Swans, and we thought that was really cool because the Swans were like one of the pioneers of like the industrial movement, so we thought it'd be like good to have him do us. So we were in the studio in Miami, and it was Criteria, who I know the Bee Gees record there. They either own it or Julio Iglesias owns the studio. And the Dead Boys recorded there, so I was like excited about that. And a bunch of people recorded there. We were there for about a month. And pretty standard recording, just go in, do your tracks and split or whatever. And then they set us up in a hotel, and me and Manson like shared a room. So like as soon as we got out of the studio, we'd go back to the hotel room, and there'd be chicks coming and going. It was typical. We thought we were rock stars at that moment, so we were like living it. I wasn't on drugs then. I was trying to like be clean, and Manson didn't do any drugs, so it was like we pretty much had like sex addictions, and that was like what we were doing. So we finished the record, and then Manson flew out to L.A. to mix it with Trent, and then I went there like a week later to hang out. And as we're there, we realize all the tracks are like out of sync. It's like the whole record is like messed up. So we had to pretty much re-record everything. And then we did, the drums were like screwy, the bass was out, so I had to redo all my bass lines. And then, and the drums were like so messed up, I think we wound up using like a drum machine for the whole record. It's like a lot of people don't know that. It's not like live drums, it's computers. And then when I got out to LA, I started getting like messed up with like drugs again. So the whole like record was like recorded like on heroin, and I had like these nutty like trashy like girls coming and going, like she-males, and I'd leave with these people like all the time and come back. But I did the record great, I didn't mess anything up. So we finished the record, and we did it, did the artwork for it, took the pictures, gave it to the record label, and they hated it. They're like, well, you're gonna have to change this and that. So we changed a few things. They still hated it. They dropped us, so we have no record deal. But at the same time, they had given Trent his own record label, which he called Nothing Records. So we tried to get another deal through some other people, but never worked. So Trent's just like, I'm gonna put the record out myself. And if it wasn't for Trent Reznor, there'd probably be no Marilyn Manson today. Whether it was his connections to get us, the record deal in the first place, to picking us up once we got dropped. So he's like, was a big reason for Manson, whether it was the influence or the business end.